This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. Janet Stewart is off. People in Dauphin and surrounding areas are still coming to terms with the devastating crash last week that killed 15 people and injured 10 others. A bus carrying seniors on a day trip to a casino in Carberry was struck by a semi while it tried to cross the highway. CBC's Alana Cole is in Dauphin and has been speaking with people there. Alana?
I'm here outside the Dauphin Active Living Centre, also known as the Senior Centre here in Dauphin. And the woman who runs it says that as she's starting to hear names of people who were on the bus, it's names of people she recognizes, community members. And she says the doors here remain open for people who want to connect, to talk or take part in activities. And community leaders here are also meeting. They're looking to find ways that they can help support people who are grieving. Outside this senior center, flowers. With lots of love reads one message. Our condolences to all the families and friends reads another. It's been less than a week since a crash here on the Trans-Canada Highway left 15 people dead. A bus filled with seniors on a day trip to a casino collided with a semi-truck. People on the bus from Dauphin and surrounding area.
Everyone knows someone that was in the crash. Everyone knows someone that was affected.
17-year-old Taz Genick is feeling that. A relative's dad is in hospital. A friend's grandmother survived too, but someone else she knows lost his.
You don't know if you should reach out and kind of help people, or if you want to give them their space. You just kind of want to let them know that they're you're here for them.
She says this comes just months after another crash in western Manitoba killed 4 teens near the community of Gilbert Plains. She knew the driver.
It broke all of us. All of us were texting each other, making sure all of us were okay. And it's kind of this situation too, where you just have to be there for people, and other people have to be there for whoever needs it.
Shared Health says 10 people remain in hospital, 5 in critical care. On Sunday, Jessie Bresden said she was praying for everyone involved, including her daughter's godmother, now a survivor in hospital.
She's just stable, but we don't know what's ahead. She's quite broken up, I think. Yeah.
Dauphin's mayor says late this afternoon the council will be discussing how to best support community if they should hold a gathering or vigil. They'll have a better idea of what they want to do once faith leaders meet in the morning.
We'll see if something emerges, or if it seems appropriate to plan something, or if it's more appropriate to just, we'll continue to wait, and at that time when it is appropriate, then something will be announced.
He says they're working to help make sure people have the supports they need. Alana Cole, CBC News, Dauphin.
As families and the wider community grieve Thursday's horrific crash, the difficult work to accurately identify the remains of the 15 people killed is also underway. There have been no new deaths, but the long, hard work of figuring out exactly what happened is just getting started. CBC's Brittany Greenslade has the latest.
Like so many, Marilyn Wiebe has struggled to get the image of Thursday's horrific crash out of her mind.
I was devastated when I saw what I thought was carnage.
While laying flowers at the site, she's still trying to comprehend what happened.
I kept thinking, there were 2 lanes, there were 2 lanes. What happened? Why did this have to happen? And there are no answers.
And it could be weeks or even months before RCMP have any.
Accuracy is paramount. Something that will not be sacrificed in the name of expediency.
The busload of 25 people, mainly seniors, was heading to the casino when it was struck by a semi-trailer just outside Carberry. Autopsies on the 15 people killed began this morning. 10 survivors, including the driver of the bus, remain in hospital, 5 in critical condition. RCMP say they have been able to speak with some of them, but say this is a difficult and sensitive investigation.
The most complex part of it is, like I said, we have to determine accurate answers. And when I talk about accurate answers, we mean, was someone at fault here? Our job as investigators is to rule that out or to rule that in.
RCMP say it's unclear if the bus had seatbelts. They also have yet to speak to the driver. The co-owner of the bus company involved says she's devastated.
I feel guilty for what happened, and my heart aches for everybody. I don't get what happened. He's the safest driver. He loves everybody. There's so many questions.
Premier Heather Stephenson says resources for families impacted are available, including reimbursements for travel, hotel, and food costs. She has yet to speak with the victims or families.
I want to respect them in their process of grieving. There will be a time for that, and of course our hearts go out. We want to make sure that we're facilitating in every way everything that they need.
She says an internal review and safety assessment of the intersection is underway. Brittany Greenslade, CBC News, Winnipeg.
RCMP say they'll hold another news conference later this week centered around the families. They hope to identify all of the victims at that time. Now, tragedies like this can have a significant impact on mental health and well-being. Wellness Canada has a support line for anyone who passed by the scene of the collision, and Prairie Mountain Health is working with the communities of Dauphin and Carberry to provide mental health support to anyone impacted by the tragedy. A 17-year-old boy is in hospital after being seriously assaulted. Emergency crews were called to Fort and Graham around 10:30 Saturday night. Police say the teen intervened in a fight after leaving a concert. They say the boy didn't know the people who were fighting. Bystanders called 911 and provided first aid until police arrived. He was taken to hospital in critical condition, where he remains in guarded condition. No arrests have been made. Opponents of a proposed silica sand mine scored a win today. Over 100 people showed up outside the Springfield Municipal Council office in Oakbank ahead of a council meeting that was closed to the public. The crowd was protesting a proposal by Alberta-based Silica. The company wants to drill more than 7,000 mines in eastern and southeastern Manitoba to extract pure silica sand over the next 24 years. Murray Leonard has lived in that municipality since 1948. He and others are concerned that mining could threaten groundwater.
That's the most important thing to all of us. If we haven't got groundwater, what have we got? The land is worthless. You can grow grain on it from rainwater, but you can't drink the water. So livestock farming, chickens, the whole thing are history.
Silica has said the operation won't harm the environment. 2 council members voted in favor and 2 voted against an agreement with the company to build a silica processing plant. 1 member abstained, suggesting she had received a threat ahead of the vote. With the tie, the resolution was defeated. It's voting day in parts of Manitoba. 2 federal by-elections are happening today, and while the parties winning the seats may not change, tonight's results could signal the strengths and weaknesses of some political parties. CBC's Ian Fraze joins us live outside a polling station in Portage-la Prairie, a city which is part of the Portage-Lisgar riding. Ian, what's the story there?
The question here is, can the Conservatives hold on to this riding? In 2019, Candice Bergen was the candidate, and she won this riding handily for the Conservatives, with around 70% of the vote. But 2 years later, her 70% went down to 50%, and the reason is the People's Party of Canada. This riding is a conservative one and has socially conservative elements, but during the pandemic, there was a real mood of anti-vaccine and anti-mandate sentiment. The PPC latched onto that, and the party got around 21% of the vote here in 2021, their highest percentage anywhere in the country. Now with this by-election, the People's Party is hoping to capitalize on that momentum. Their leader, Maxime Bernier, is here. He's been parachuted in. He's been effectively living in a hotel room for the month. He is, again, hoping to capitalize on that momentum. The Conservatives, though, they don't want to be flanked on the right-hand side. Their candidate, Brandon Leslie, has said adamantly that he will not attend the World Economic Forum, trying to ultimately create a wedge issue between himself and Bernier, Bernier having attended that conference in the past. the hope, obviously, for the Conservatives is to suppress the PPC's turnout so that going forward, the People's Party is not an option for right-leaning voters throughout the country. The Liberal candidate in this riding is Carrie Smith, and the NDP candidate is Lisa Tessier-Birch.
Now, Ian, of course, the other by-election is in Winnipeg South Centre. That riding has been without an MP since the death late last year of former Liberal Cabinet Minister Jim Carr. What are you watching for in that riding, Ian?
In that riding, can Ben Carr follow in his father's footsteps? Ben is Jim's son. Ben is the Liberal candidate for the riding. The result here will be a test for the Liberals and their popularity. In 2021, they got around 18, or their margin of victory was around 18 percentage points. If they can have a similar result here, that does bode well for the Liberals, who've had some bad days in the news of late. Also of note here is how many names are on the ballot. There are 48 people contesting this election. 42 of them are part of a coordinated effort. They are election reform activists hoping for an end to the first-past-the-post system. Elections Canada has told us that it might take a little longer to count all the ballots, considering how large these paper ballots are. The Conservative candidate in this riding is Damir Stepanovich, and the NDP's candidate is Julia Riddell. Emily.
Thank you, Ian. That's CBC's Ian Fraze reporting live from Portage-La Prairie. Polls in both ridings close tonight at 8:30. A new state-of-the-art operating room is open at Winnipeg's Concordia Hospital. Officials hope it'll mean 1,000 more hip and knee replacements every year. Carrie Froome is president and COO of Concordia Hospital. She says they managed to recruit the staff needed.
It is really the additional staffing resources for this new OR and our 4 new inpatient beds that will enable this work. Concordia has successfully recruited an additional orthopedic surgeon, anesthesia staff for the OR, nurses and healthcare aides to care for additional patients.
In the past year, 6,000 hip and knee replacement surgeries have been performed in Manitoba in an attempt to reduce the backlog. Part of the funding for the new OR came from the Concordia Hospital Foundation, which raised $350,000. And joining us now is our weather meteorologist, John Sauter. John, today was one of those days where you really could tell the difference if you were in the sun or in the shade.
Yeah, 30 degrees this afternoon, and the wind was a little on the gusty side, but boy, we have some interesting weather in the area right now, and what will become interesting later in the evening. I'll explain all right now. Let's look at that current temperature. Notice the dew point temperature up at 17. Tomorrow, that is going to be more like 21 or 22, and you know that means it's going to be very humid, and we're going to ramp up the temperature as well. 33 to 35 tomorrow compared to the 30 that we have right now. Wow, it is just add a whole boatload of moisture in there as well. It's going to be a really humid and hot day tomorrow. Right now, we've got southeast winds at 28 kilometers per hour and our temperature right at 30, and has been through most of the afternoon, at least downtown. The airport just checking in at 30. Here's a look at a system. It's not really a large low pressure system, but it's affecting a large area. This is the cold front, and this is attached to the low, which is well back into northern Alberta. It even brings some of the white stuff, you know what I'm talking about, way back to the west in the mountains. I'll tell you more about that in a second. Right now, though, in southern Manitoba, we've got some showers that are strengthening as they leave the Brandon area and Dauphin area. A few sprinkles in Dauphin in the last 15-20 minutes, and this heads right up into the northern Interlake. So some of this will be storm activity as we head on into the evening hours. So let's talk about alerts and advisories. We've got a special air quality advisory up around Lynn Lake. There's a fire just east of Leaf Rapids and spreading some smoke in that area. And then we go up into that same area and northern Saskatchewan, northern Manitoba, a severe thunderstorm watch is in effect. That's closer to the center of the low. And then here in the south, we have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect as well. And this is really talking about how this weather will continue to develop tonight. Hail 5 centimeters in diameter, wind gusts possible at 110 kilometers per hour, and then out through northwestern Ontario, a heat warning is in effect for very hot weather that will continue for a couple of days. Look at Futurecast and well back into the mountains of Alberta between Banff and Jasper, 15 to 25 centimeters of snow expected. So a snowfall warning in effect in that area. And it's all part of the same system. Look at the overnight period here. I think a lot of this will stay west of the Red River Valley, but affect the southwest and the Interlake. This is 1:30 in the morning. So tonight, before going to bed, if you have patio umbrellas up, chairs, that sort of thing, secure the outside if you're in that area. I have a risk in effect for Winnipeg here as well. It'll likely stay out to the west and north of us. Here's a look at Tuesday, 4:30. All looks good. Then you fast forward into the evening and things just explode. So I think the most active weather in this part of the province will be Tuesday evening. Here's a look at 10:30. And again, large hail, heavy wind gusts, and we will be looking for that to be developing as we head into later on Tuesday. Wednesday, things quiet down, but we still have a chance for showers and thunderstorms. So tomorrow, we're looking at dew points getting out of sticky and into the uncomfortable category. Tonight, 22 is the low. Tomorrow, we get really warm, 24 in the morning, 33 in the afternoon, and the humidity levels will be ramped up. And you know what? Last year on this day, Emily, the temperature was 37, and that was a record high temperature.
Oh my gosh. So if you think this year's bad, just think about last year. Yeah. Thank you, John.
You bet.
Well, coming up, Jennifer Catchaway has been missing 15 years. Her family continues to search for her, but her parents say after all of this time, little has changed to bring justice for families of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. We'll have that story after the break. You're watching CBC Winnipeg News. Today would have been Jennifer Catchaway's 33rd birthday, but she disappeared on this day 15 years ago. Catchaway's family continues to search for her. Her parents, Bernice and Wilfred, say after all of these years, little has changed to bring justice for families of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. And Catchaway's story is part of CBC's Mother, Sister, Daughters series, which takes a closer look at how many of the 231 calls to justice have been completed from the National Inquiry into MMIWG. CBC's Marjorie Dowhouse spent time with the Catchaway's parents in their new home on Skoman First Nation.
Jennifer is watching. To call home, everybody is worried.
Bernice Catchaway's daughter has been missing for 5 months.
All I could do was cry because I felt winter's coming. Not a day goes by where I don't think about Jennifer. She's always on my mind. She's in my heart. I have pictures of her all over. I always constantly think of her. These are Jennifer's baby shoes.
Oh my goodness, look at those. When you look at those,
I feel good. I feel good about that.
Do you ever think about what 15 years now, what Jennifer would have been like today, or where she'd been, or how her life would be?
I would have loved to see her graduate from school, to get a job and have a family. That was taken away. She was robbed of that. We were robbed of that. She was just like that with kids. I used to get angry and hurt and cry when I seen a wedding, when I seen anybody having type of happiness that people are getting engaged, and they're just happy lives and I thought, so unfair. I wanted that for Jen. I wanted her to experience all of that,
She's full of love, that girl.
Her family says they can't believe 5 years have already passed.
Does it get harder each year, each passing year that goes by?
It never gets easier, never.
They say time heals. In some respect it does. Like I don't go around with a broken heart grieving. I would have been dead already because I was so broken hearted. It says, "Happy birthday, Jennifer. Gone but never forgotten." But being 15 years, we can't dwell on that. I used to kick myself. I used to cry because I hung up on Jennifer that day when I talked to her, when she phoned me on her birthday. If she could hear me, I would say to her, "We love you, Jen, and it's your birthday." For me, I want to celebrate Jen's life. It's her birthday, and it's my birthday, and those are the last words I heard from her. "Mom, it's my birthday." Every day I pass, sometimes I'll just stop and just rub her,
Yeah.
That's what I have left of her.
What do you think should be done, whether it's police, whether it's government?
Pass those recommendations. Pass them. Take them serious, because it could happen to you. Does it have to happen to you before you take it serious? That's the calls for justice.
Get to the root of the problems. This is a real tragedy that's happening across Canada.
She didn't hold back, criticizing the RCMP starting on the day she reported Jennifer missing to a Portage La Prairie officer.
Oh, give her a week. She's on a drunk. I said, "You don't even know her."
So what's the latest now with the RCMP? Because this is still an active case, right? This is still an active investigation. What kind of communication has there been?
Nothing. No communication at all. Yes, they just called the other day wanting to know how we're doing. That's the only time they call. If there's a big event happening. Other than that, we're the ones who call.
It's been 15 years. Where's Jen? And all this funding goes to the RCMP, all this funding. What are they doing? My daughter's still missing.
I think it's important that the police, the investigators, need to hear our hearts. Listen to us.
The family of Jennifer Catchaway is leaving no stones unturned.
We are going to find her. We are going to bring Jennifer home.
That's what I always when I go searching. Wherever we go, somebody will see Jen and give me a call. You never know.
Somebody out there knows where Jennifer is. It's going to take money to get this job done because it's excavating a dump. And now we just have one piece, that missing piece, and somebody knows. We need to bring her home. It's been too long already. It's been 15 years too long.
CBC contacted Manitoba RCMP for comment on Jennifer Catchaway's case, and we did not get a response. Still to come, John Sauter will be back with a 7-day forecast. Stay with us. You're watching CBC Winnipeg News.
Well, here's a look at lightning tracking as some of these are storms heading through the Lake Manitoba Narrows up into the northern part of the Interlake. The severe thunderstorm watch is farther to the south, and that's for the redevelopment of some more storms, possibly severe storms tonight. And we'll see that shifting over into the Red River Valley tomorrow evening. A high of 33, but very humid. More storms on Wednesday and Wednesday night. And then we're looking at a bit quieter weather by Friday. A few more showers over the weekend.
A bit quieter wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah, not bad.
Thank you, John. That was the CBC Winnipeg News. We'll be back at 11 with more on Manitoba's 2 by-elections underway today. Maybe we'll even have the results by then. Hope you have a nice evening.